Good morning, folks. Welcome to the next episode of Cooking with Chris. Today we're going to make a special little ditty that I like to call Kimchi Quesadillas. Now, I've been making this dish for probably around 20 years. And it's a very simple dish and extremely delicious. It's something that you can make for a nice little snack. But it's also something I often make when I have little dinner parties. I'll make one of these quesadillas and cut them into thin triangles and serve them as a past hors d'oeuvre. And people always seem to like them. Now I know the Korean Mexican fusion thing has been going on for a while. But I do believe I came up with this dish before any of that actually started happening. Because I've been doing it forever. But not important who came up with it first. It's important how delicious it is and how easy it is to make. These are the ingredients I'll be using. Not very many. We have 2 flour tortillas. We have some kimchi that my mother-in-law made. We have some shredded cheddar mozzarella cheese. You can use other different kinds of cheeses if that's what you have. Some sour cream, some cilantro, and some butter. So sit back, relax, and check this out. So first thing I'll do, just because it's in front of me, is chop up this cilantro a little bit. And I'm using the leaves of the cilantro. I know that the stems have more flavor, but this dish has so much flavor that the leaves are just fine. Plenty of cilantro flavor from the leaves. The pan is already hot. Now, the other thing we need to do before we start, turn down that pan a little bit. We need to cut up the kimchi. Now, kimchi is fermented cabbage, a popular dish that everybody eats in Korea. It's become quite popular in the US too. It's a little bit spicy. It has a bit of a, some say not pleasant aroma, but I like the way it smells too. I'm going to squeeze it out first, because it's very watery. You don't want your quesadilla to be watery. So right over the sink, I'll just get rid of some of the excess liquid by squeezing it really hard. Can't see what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. And then cut it up into a small dice. We are ready to get going. So I don't know that this is even really a Mexican dish. I feel like it's more of an American dish, quesadillas. So we'll say, instead of saying it's a Mexican-Korean fusion, I guess we could say it's like a Tex-Mex-Korean fusion dish. First thing we'll do is take a piece of butter, throw it in the pan. Mexicans made in, quesadillas made in Mexico are often cooked dry, but I like the flavor of the butter. It adds a lot of flavor and crispiness to the outside shell of the quesadilla. So now we put 1 flour tortilla over the melted butter, and we'll grab some cheese and just sprinkle it over all over the quesadilla. As I'm doing so, you don't have to get it all the way to the edges, because as it melts, it will spread out a bit. And we'll take the kimchi, Do the same thing. Spread it all around the quesadilla. So it's really just like 4 ingredients or 5 ingredients. And not all the ingredients are necessary. You can certainly have this dish without the sour cream or the cilantro, and it's still really good. So that's just some things I'm adding to embellish it and maybe hopefully make it look pretty. Next step, put the other tortilla on top of the one that's already in the pan. Turn up the heat a bit. And then so you don't forget to put the butter on later so that this side gets a little butter too. Even while the bottom's cooking, I put the butter in already. That way it's done. All right? So what I was saying before is quesadillas do actually exist in Mexico, and that's where they're from, but they're not, the ones made in Mexico are not so much like the ones we're accustomed to here in the U.S. Usually the ones made in Mexico are made with corn tortillas. And again, they're made dry on a special stove top. I forget the name of it. And often just filled with cheese and meats. And sometimes in northern Mexico, they use a flour tortilla. And again, they don't want to cook it too much. Hold on a second. They don't add the butter. I lost my spatula. But here it is. And you just want to flip the quesadilla. And let it cook on that side. It'll be just another minute at this point. We want to clear off the cutting board so we can cut the quesadilla on it. And I would say about 30 seconds we'll have ourselves a kimchi quesadilla. And we are done. You can see here, it's nice and crispy, and doesn't need to cook for very long. Now, I cut it up. You cut it into 4, you cut it into 8. Like I said, when I'm using this as a past hors d'oeuvre for a party, I'll usually cut the triangles quite thin, so they're long, skinny triangles, and like a bite-sized portion. For today, we will cut it in 8 pieces. Get ourselves a plate. And just layer the triangle so it looks pretty. And we are almost done. And then I like to put a little kimchi in the middle as a sort of a garnish and some extra veggies to eat. And then just because I like a little creaminess with my quesadillas, I'll put some sour cream over the top. And then I'll garnish with some fresh cilantro. Another thing that quesadillas always have and often have in Mexico is like a pico de gallo or a salsa or something. For this dish, I didn't add any salsa or pico de gallo because I feel like the kimchi sort of is taking on the role of that in this dish. So just to give you a look at what the finished product looks like, you can see here, this is my kimchi quesadilla. And like I said, just 4 ingredients, super easy to make, amazingly delicious. a little bit exotic, and the taste is just unbelievable. I'll taste this now. This is so good. Anybody would love it. And so easy to make. I urge you to try it out. It's been good hanging out with you again. And y'all have a nice day now. Take good care. Peace out.